I love the exercise of writing from the title. Writing from the title gets me generating what could be a chorus. So lyrically, I can flesh that out. It gets me into, so because lyrically it was hard. Like, what do I want to talk about? What is the thing I want to talk about? Trying to, and like sometimes it was like, yeah, I have this idea I want to talk about, but how am I going to go about it, and how do I go about structuring it? And then it was just disorganized kind of thoughts, and then not really getting it, trying to just put it into these the context of a verse or a chorus. So now I have this great skill set of writing from the title, or doing daily writes, which is Andrea Stolpe really helped me with this, is where it's like, you write, you do a daily write, like sensory writing on anything, and it primes the pump for just getting yourself ready for expression.
You mean a lyric writing, like you sit down and you free flow?
You're free flowing. You're just free
like
flowing. It doesn't, idea, like, you take, it could be what Pat Pattison calls like object writing. And you're just, you could take like an object, like, just a chair, and then you start spinning out, what is that chair? You start going, oh, it's got this, plush leather, or, the deep brown. You start describing what it's about. You start describing the feel of it, and that touch, that's the smooth, like, kind of surface, like the slickness of it. And you start getting into it and what it feels like to sit in it. And you slump in the chair, and you kind of just, and then you connect it. It's just free flowing with your mind, of just like that old chair that maybe it was your dad's chair, and it came from the house, and now he's passed away, but you remember that old chair where he sat there, and he taught you, he taught you how to whittle something, or, and it was just, you start just experimenting with, let your mind go. And all of a sudden, those little elements can either just prime the pump, or they can actually be targeted to an actual title, and then you could write from that title, but explore that title through your senses. And
so
really trying to get,
will you reverse engineer a lot of times? So let's say you're doing one of these like journal. What do you specifically call that?
Yeah,
what do you call it?
Well, they call it either destination writing, is what Andrea Stolpe calls it, or object writing is what Pat Pattison calls it, where you start with an object. She likes to start in destinations and think of yourself like in the subway, and put yourself in that environment. So, and it's just journaling. It's journaling, and it's free writing. So
Okay.
any free associative kind of stuff. Doesn't have to be complete sentences, just fragments.
The point would probably be to take away that judgment part of your brain that's like, this isn't good enough, this doesn't work, that doesn't make any sense. Just kind of break free.
Totally. That's the whole point of it, is to, like, even if you're not going to use those elements or the stuff that you come up with, that you feel free, and that little, that little sensor that comes in and tells, oh, that's cliche. Don't say that. And I have a big problem with that. And I've always had I always wanted, the editor comes in right immediately off the bat and starts going, no, don't say that. This gets you out of that, and you just start going. And as long as you keep sticking to your senses, and you keep sticking to that moment and that object, and just let that flow happen, there's no judgment involved. This is just the time to just dump. You just dump it all out, and just go with it. And some people are, naturally better at just letting go and doing that. I'm not naturally that way. So this has definitely been the learning curve for that. It took me quite a while to turn off the sensor and just start writing, Yeah.
But that's one of those beautiful things that, as far as, like we were talking about earlier, the personal growth trajectory of anyone, that I don't, I think that's just everyone's got their own strengths and weaknesses, and so that you have to, like, work on yours. For it, it sounds like lyrics are your grind, and for other people, myself included, lyrics are like a piece of cake. I can just be like, but I don't have quite the musical reservoir where I feel like I labor on
Ah,
music a lot of times. And that's, you know, so anyways, I totally
I
relate to that.
I know.
That's
Yeah,
um
that yeah. So everybody has their kind of process that works, best for them. And it's and it and for me now it's changing. So that's kind of neat too, in terms of what you work on and the way that you approach it. So I mean, and you can take it from any avenue, as I said, like, just taking a drum beat and trying that and seeing if like, oh, let me just put some chords over this.
yeah.
Yeah.